We've gone back in history 25 years and we never had an event such as the one we had on the 23rd and 24th. It wasn't necessarily linked to the snow itself or the snow accumulation. It was really linked to the power failures that took effect, and obviously the infrastructure depends on electricity. For example, all the grade crossings where the barriers come down obviously require electricity.
Via Rail representatives underlined it wasn't just snow that caused some passengers to be stranded in rail cars stuck along the Toronto to Montreal corridor just before Christmas. Appearing before the House Transport Committee, Via Rail execs emphasized they can only control what they actually operate, and in this case, that doesn't include railway tracks.
We own and maintain less than 3% of the tracks on which we operate. Therefore, the majority of the infrastructure we operate on is owned by other rail companies, mostly by freight companies. And in the case of the events we are here to discuss, the tracks belong to CN.
The committee had asked CN to appear, but the American-owned rail corporation has not agreed to come to committee. Frustrating for MPs as some of the holiday delays were caused by a CN derailment.
I want to say that I think that this is terrible that CN and that the Railway Association of Canada have refused to intervene before this parliamentary committee. I think that is terrible, and I think this is something that we have to be noting.
Hearings soon focused on Train 55, stuck for 18 hours between December 23rd and 24th. A tree fell on the train near Cobourg, Ontario, and 2 CN rail crews dispatched to remove that tree were stopped by the weather. Some MPs questioned why local emergency services or Via Rail's own crew couldn't do anything about it.
In terms of having equipment and personnel on board to cut trees down in that circumstance, this is not something we have considered. Our employees are certainly not trained for that.
While Tory MPs zeroed in on the transport minister, who didn't talk to Via Rail directly until 2.5 weeks later.
And we set up a meeting with the minister post-incident to review actions, not only what happened during the events, but more importantly, the action plan to address the shortcomings, and that meeting was held on January 11th.
Liberals at committee countering that the minister's presence or absence wouldn't have made a difference. The minister himself saying he's open to improving rail transport in Canada, but frustratingly light on details.
Certainly, if there's an opportunity to find ways to strengthen rail passengers' rights, I will look at it.
In Ottawa, Xiaoli Li, City News.